Good morning, Facebook. Hello, Facebook. Let's see. Have a new setup today, so I'm hoping that my microphone is working. I'm assuming that if my microphone's not working, people will let me know right away there with the notification that I am live. So waiting for a few people to join on here. And check this out. I have a new setup today, a new microphone. So all right, people are joining. Hopefully you can hear me. This is okay, Jamie said it's working. Perfect. All right, excellent. So my microphone is working. I have a new microphone today, which is one of the exciting things going on. So I have mic'd up with a lavalier mic today, wireless lavalier mic for my iPhone. So this is pretty exciting. I have thousands of dollars worth of camera equipment, and we would take it everywhere we go, all this camera equipment and traveling, and it's just so much. It's all these big bags when we go to Italy and all these places. And we went to Mexico with no camera equipment besides our iPhones, our iPhone 12 Pro Maxes, which the cameras on those are amazing. But I noticed that the microphones, and I've known this for many, many years, which is why I've had a lavalier mic, a plug-in lavalier mic for all of my past iPhones. And it plugs into the iPhone right there, and I run a cord, and I can talk, and I do it in a lot of trade shows. Especially going to New York City and stuff, it helps me interview people in crowds, or if I'm up on the mountain and it's windy, I can plug it in. But what I was lacking is a two-way, two-channel, where I can have two people talking and have wireless. So I went this week, and when we got back from Mexico, and I looked on the B&H website, called B&H, and I bought these great little lavalier mics. I'm just gonna turn it on here. So this plugs into my phone right here, which is plugged in right now. This is a wireless lavalier mic. It plugs in with the cord there, so I can put it in my pocket basically. Okay, let me reverse that again. So I can put it into my pocket and run this, and then somebody else can have this too. So hopefully the sound quality is good. I just got these yesterday and just charged them overnight. So first time using them. I kind of tested it out last night with just with videos, and they were working great with videos, but now that I'm live, so and then I got a new Joby selfie pole, which is what I have right now. A really cool new one. So I use the old one that's cool as well. And I've been using this for several years. This is a tripod. This Joby tripod that bends, and you can wrap it around a tree, and you mount your phone there. But it doesn't have that big of a reach, and it'll fit up to a 6.5-pound camera on there. So if you want to put a camera besides an iPhone, it's cool if you want to wrap around a tree or level things out, but it just doesn't have that long a reach. Now I have a really long reach, and I don't have to worry about my microphone. This even goes further than that as well. So there we go. So I can go that far, and my microphone's right here. So that's cool and exciting today. But a couple other things that are super exciting. So speaking of traveling, when Jamie and I were in Spain in 2017, we covered most of the eastern part of the country, from Madrid to Barcelona to Zaragoza, up almost to the French border, to Navarra, to Ribeira del Douro, to Rioja, and all the way down past Milan, all the way down to the coast, to Valencia. So we covered a good portion of the right part of the country. And everywhere we went, every bar, every restaurant had vermouth on draft. Vermouth on draft. Yes, like Martini and Rossi, like Martini and Rossi vermouth, and most of us would never put in a glass and drink by itself. Well, there are these really great craft vermouths that are happening throughout Spain and Italy and France. And in Spain, they put them on draft, and you literally get a pint of, they're on the rocks, of course. It's not straight, because it's a little higher alcohol than wine. But we got vermouth after vermouth after vermouth, and it was fantastic. So I've always wanted to put vermouth on draft. Always wanted to put vermouth on draft since our 2017 trip, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, however long ago, 2018 maybe. 2018. So that was 3 years ago. And it's hard to find vermouth in a keg. It's really hard to find vermouth in a keg. I had found one company that had done it, and then they discontinued it. So I was like, oh my gosh, there goes my brilliant idea of bringing this great idea back from Spain. It won't work. But when we were away in Mexico, I said, you know what? I'm going to put draft lines in for wine. So we have 2 wine draft lines now, which is super exciting. And I said one of those draft lines is going to go for vermouth. And of course, I scoured every company, because we have an online database in New York here where I can search every single company that sells. There's like 300 companies in New York that sell wine, beers, and beer. Wine, spirits, and beer. There's literally 300 companies, like hundreds of companies. Most restaurants buy from the two big ones, Empire and Southern. Those are the two companies that monopolize everything, bring in all the big brands and push to the side all the small family-run stuff in their portfolio because they're more concerned about answering to Jack Daniels and Absolute and Grey Goose and Cuervo and things like that. Those are the most important. Mondavi and Behringer and Barefoot and Yellowtail, they answer to those people mostly. They don't answer to the small mom and pop winery that they're representing in Spain or Italy. So I really don't deal with Empire or Southern that much at all. I mean, like literally like 3-4 orders a year. Every other restaurant gets it there, one from each every week. So I scoured this online database from New York, and I found 2 options only in the whole state of New York. 2 options only on this online database, which covers all the companies. 2 only for kegs of vermouth, for vermouth on draft. I knew the one company, so I called him, spoke to my rep, and he goes, Marcus, it's not the quality you're looking for. I said, thank you for your honesty. I appreciate your honesty. He goes, I'd be happy to sell to you, but it's not quite the quality I know you're looking for. I said, thank you. I found this other company, Ole Obrigado, Spanish-Portuguese import company. Messaged him on Monday. The sales rep drove up from Westchester on Wednesday, tasted us on stuff, and on Friday we had the keg here. So that is now on draft, and super excited about that because, again, this is something that we found all over Spain, but in New York, I'm imagining like it's almost like impossible to get this because since there's only 2 companies that deal with it, out of all the restaurants, I mean 80,000 restaurants alone in New York City, and only 2 smaller companies are dealing with it. I imagine that there's probably maybe 20 restaurants, 30, 40 restaurants in the whole state that might have this on draft, So we launched it last night, and a couple guests had it. We had to talk to them and tell them what it was about because it's just a whole educational thing, right? This whole educational curve. It's not you knowing, oh yeah, I know Chardonnay or I know Merlot or I know whiskey. It's here's vermouth. There's something you typically would never drink or have never drank on the rocks. And I've drank vermouth on the rocks for years. I absolutely love it. And vermouth is a type of Amaro, type of bitters, just like Amaro. And Amaros, we'll talk about Amaros in a later video. I actually have the book on Amaros, a definitive guide on Amaros, which is right there. See that? Amaro. I have that book. Met the guy who wrote that. A couple years ago at a trade show in the city. So that was exciting. So now, vermouth, folks. Vermouth on draft is right there. It comes out of that draft line, right next to the kombucha and our other kegs. So we have vermouth on draft. It gets served in that glass on the rocks. It's 6 ounces on the rocks. If you want to taste it and sample it, we'd be happy to do that because, again, it's not something that most people are used to. Most people just don't say, hey, I want vermouth on the rocks. So that's one more exciting thing. The third exciting thing that I want to show you outside here that's really exciting. I know every year when mushrooms are in season because all of a sudden, oh, here's something else that's exciting. I posted on our Instagram a little while ago how this one company that we buy from is there's our shrimp that we buy, the Right Choice Shrimp, and there's our mahi from Ecuador, line caught mahi, sustainably raised shrimp with no chemicals. So I posted on our Instagram and our Facebook how this one company, the truck was just here about half an hour ago, 45 minutes. Oh, and here's the other company that delivers today, Baldor. They're the ones who raised our minimums, lowered our delivery days, and makes it much harder to work with. Chef's Warehouse, on the other hand, the other company, they lowered the minimums, increased the frequency days, and making it easier for restaurants to do business. So kudos to Chef's Warehouse. So I took a picture and did a shout out to them on our Instagram this morning. They literally ran up here for 2 boxes from the Bronx. 2 boxes from the Bronx. He's like, we're lowering our minimums. He goes, our delivery days aren't going to be affected in your area, but other areas like Westchester and stuff, we're delivering more frequently. So that's exciting too. Here's the other exciting part. Ready for this? Ready for this? Those are mayatakes from this morning that I harvested this morning. So I always know when wild mushrooms are available. See, now here's where the microphone that I was talking about earlier is going to work out fine because the phone is actually 4 feet away from me, 5 feet away from me. The microphone is on my shirt, so my sound should be much better, and it's really cool like that. So that's where This new microphone that I have, this lavalier mic, comes in handy, and again, 2 people can have it, and it's wireless. So yeah, so I always know when mushrooms are in season because foragers always call me, and they're like, "Hey, you want to buy some chanterelles? You want to buy morels?" I'm like, "Thanks for the tip-off. I forage myself, and I am going to go out tomorrow." So I got a phone call yesterday, and I kind of knew maitakes were in season because I saw them on one of the posts on Facebook. Somebody had picked them. I was like, okay, so it's kind of time. So then I got a phone call yesterday from a guest, and the guest was like, "Hey, I got some maitakes. You want to buy some?" I'm like, "No, thanks. I have like 12 trees." That came from a new tree today, folks. That was a first-time harvest on a brand new tree that I found. I've never seen that tree have them before, so that was new. These other 4, I only went to 2 trees today. Actually, I went to 3 trees. 2 out of the 3 had them. This came from one tree, these 4 pieces. I've never harvested 4 pieces off this one tree in the last decade. It's always been 2 pieces, sometimes 3. This one tree had 4 beautiful pieces on it. So, hopefully this means it's going to be a good season. This is a new tree right down the road that I've never seen them on before. So that was cool as well. I went to another regular tree that I have near the restaurant, and that one had, it was just starting to sprout up. So I was like, ooh, I got another few days or another week. Hopefully I'll make it back before somebody else makes it back. So I literally have like 10 or 12 other trees that I can go forage and scour through the mountains here. So that's what my week's gonna be like, going through the woods and finding more of those maitakes. So that's a story with that. Let's see, if you're coming in to eat, you're gonna want, if you're coming in to eat, we're gonna try to be seating outside as much as possible. We understand that it gets cold, and we do have some heaters out here. We do have some heaters, but we understand that it is cold, so we're going to probably be given options either inside or outside on cooler nights. There's the fire pit. That's great. It does keep you warm if you're sitting around it a little bit. It does throw off some heat. So, but here's a shot of the garden. We cleaned the filter on the pond yesterday, so the waterfall's really flowing right now. It's like really flowing. If you've never been back here, we have fish back here in the pond. So this I built last year once the pandemic hit in May. Pandemic hit March, right? So by May, I was like, okay, they're going to allow outdoor dining, so let me beautify the outback. And I built this myself back here. I bought these stackable pavers at Lowe's. Did I get them at Lowe's? Yeah. And then I bought the livestock trough. Bought a pump and built everything myself here. So it's fairly easy to do. The hardest thing to do was leveling everything to make sure that it was level, putting it in. So, and then we bought a new tentless last year, a little bigger than the year before. So that's it, folks. We're actually catering today too. I have 25 lunches going out here at 11 o'clock. Tamarind tofu, roasted cauliflower with a curry dressing on it, organic rice. We did that yesterday too, 25 people for lunch, 25 people for dinner. We're doing lunch and dinner for them today again, and lunch for them tomorrow. We're doing our braised chickpea and eggplant for them tomorrow. It's a vegetarian party, which is really nice. 25 people before we even open for day today. Actually 50 people by the time we open. So that's really awesome, 50 meals served. We're getting tons and tons of calls for catering. So 647-3000 if you have any events coming up. That would be great. That's a big order I have coming in there. I got to attend to them. There's some local broccoli on there. There's some local cauliflower. Bunch of other things. So that's it, folks. Everybody has a great, great day. And again, if you want to sample the vermouth on draft, come in, ask us for it. We'll give you a taste. Every sampling we gave yesterday, the people were like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is great. We'll take a glass. So that's it, folks. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you later.